1-2-3 inning from Athene as Jonathan Kim sends one right back up in the middle, but not enough. A little bit of a mother-father there moment. You saw the Spartans shortstop in Mitch Jebb and Trent Farquhar looking at one another for a moment, but at the end of the day, it's Trent Farquhar stepping in and dealing that third out of the inning. Now suddenly, after that 1-2-3 performance, it's Jacob Denner, the lefty for the Wolverines, who has to come back in. Denner, a little bit of a hero earlier today in the bottom of the fifth inning in the top of the sixth inning, for the Wolverines. He provided one pitch that was one out and just enough for the Wolverines after starter for the day, Noah Renard, left two stranded and two outs. A potentially dangerous situation for the Wolverines, who were only up 2 runs and are only still up 2 runs. But now, no rest for the weary. Jacob Denner certainly back at it.
Well, John, thanks for filling in for me a little bit there. For those of you listening on WCBN, we apologize for our technical difficulties. It's a busy Friday night slate. We've got softball, Michigan and Northwestern picking up just across the way, and so scheduling a couple streams at the same time, not to mention a lacrosse game later tonight. Just had a little miscommunication as to whether our game was on WCBN 1 or WCBN 2. So if you want to listen to softball, that's going to be on WCBN 2, picking up just before 6 p.m. Anyhow, back to your regularly scheduled program. We've got Michigan baseball through 6 at Ray Fisher Stadium. Wolverines up 5-3, and Jacob Denner back on the mound for Michigan. Denner threw one pitch in the fifth. His first pitch here bunted up the first base side, a foul ball by Jebb, 0-1. That one pitch that Denner threw in the fifth was enough to induce a pop-up off the bat of Farquhar and retire the side, escaping a jam and stranding 2 runners, closing the book on Noah Renard. And now Denner gets a clean inning here to begin the top of the 7th.
And Jared, I don't suppose you can be convinced to come out this Friday night with us to cover this lacrosse game, can you?
No, but you're working a doubleheader today. That's right. John Tondora going from baseball to lacrosse. Listeners, you can go with them. 0-1 curveball on the outside corner for a strike, 0-2. Well, the book is closed on Noah Renard. 5 2/3 innings, scattered 8 hits and a couple walks, allowing just 3 runs and striking out 2, tossing 82 pitches. A solid performance by Renard. Denner's 0-2, up and away to Jebb, 1-2. And Jebb's had himself a day, 2 for 3 with a single and a triple. It's getting late, but we might as well say it. He's still halfway to a cycle. Never know how many at-bats he has in store today. 1-2 pitch. Off the outside corner, 2-2.
And jumping back to Renard really quickly, what you have to commend him for is his versatility for this Michigan Wolverine lineup. He's played starter, he's played relief, he's been all over the place for them. And you know, Tracy Smith always working to see if he can find new arms that are successful for this program.
2-2, low and away, ball 3. And so Jebb continues to keep that bat on his shoulders, laying off everything from Denner. It's a pivotal batter here. The meat of the Spartan order is up with Jebb, Bradenberg, and Bush. 2-3-4 against Denner in the inning. 3-2 the count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Went after the fastball. He's mad at himself, and it's a big first out for Jacob Denner.
And that was evidently the game plan for Tracy Smith, putting in Jacob Denner, the lefty senior. He's been experienced in these situations against a heavily lefty Spartan lineup. He generates strikeouts. What have Michigan State not been able to do today? They have not been able to put the bat on the ball, and suddenly Tracy Smith once again looking like a little bit of a genius for this call should Jacob continue to be able to find success.
Another lefty steps in. It's Bradenberg who watches the first pitch, breaking ball off the outside corner for a ball, 1-0. Bradenberg, the big left-handed hitter in the middle of this order, but he's 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly this afternoon. 1-0 the count. Denner deals, and Bradenberg swings through the fastball, 0-1. He leads the team in average on-base percentage, slugging percentage, and RBI.
Some have called him the Rock recently.
People are talking. 1-1 the count. Denner deals. That skips into the plate, and it's 2-1.
And what makes Denner so dangerous is not only is he a lefty, something that's always valued, lefty pitching, he has such an interesting release point and such strong break on his balls.
2-1 the count. The pitch at the knees for a strike, and or just low rather. And the crowd moaning and groaning here at home plate umpire Chris Koski, and it's 3-1. Bradenberg in a hitter's count. Denner's got to be careful here. He deals home, and it's low, ball 4, and so Ben Bradenberg works a 5-pitch walk. He's on base for the first time today, and the Spartans have a 1-out base runner, down 5-3 here in the top of the 7th.
Jacob Denner, now we get to see him kind of work under a little bit of pressure. Of course, in his debut here today for the Wolverines, he came up with 2 runners on, but in a 2-out situation, he was able to get away with 1 pitch for a pop fly to center field. Now with only 1 out, 1 runner on first base, can we see how he handles the pressure of only a 2-run lead, the tying runner at the plate?
And it's Sam Bush, who was supposed to be at bat, the lefty, but instead it's Anderson, the righty, who pinch hits. Denner's first pitch bends outside, 1-0. So for the first time today, Denner will face a right-handed hitter. Jacob Anderson climbing into the box, a 241 hitter. Bradenberg leads off first, the 1-0 laced into left field, down for a base hit. Flores fields it on his knee. Bradenberg pulls in at second, and Tracy Smith looked like a genius for a while. This time it's Jake Boss sending up the pinch hitter Anderson, and he delivers with a seed to left, and the Spartans are threatening here with 2 on and 1 away in the 7th.
And Jacob Denner certainly not happy to see Brian Brecker, another righty, stepping up, and we now have a potential pitching change, at the very least a visit to the mound for the Wolverines.
Michigan's bullpen is quiet as a church mouse, and so it looks to be a mound visit for Jacob Denner. With the right-hand hitting Brian Brecker, a 343 hitter entering the day, coming to the plate with Bradenberg on at second and Anderson on at first. A long meeting at the mound here between all of Michigan's infield. All gathered around Jacob Denner, and as suspected, Denner will stay in this game, so the mess is his to escape. Michigan clenching a 5-3 lead. They've led ever since the bottom of the 2nd inning. And it's Brian Brecker, who's 0 for 3 on the day, with a couple of ground outs and a pop-up coming to the plate. Denner takes a deep breath on the mound. Runners lead off first and second. The first pitch is outside on a fastball, ball 1.
And you know, with no one warming up right now, as you mentioned, Jared, Tracy Smith is convinced that Jacob Denner is going to be the do-or-die guy today to get them out of this.
The 1-0 is at the knees or low. Could not see the signal from Chris Koski, but it is a strike, and it's 1-1. Bradenberg's the runner at second. He walked on 5 pitches, and Anderson on at first. He pinch hit for Bush and ripped a single. And now it's Brecker. 1-1 pitch is in the dirt, smothered nicely by Sotrace, and it's 2-1 to keep Bradenberg on at second. Not much speed on the bases. Power at the plate in Brecker. 2-1. Shot back up the middle, caught by Burden. He'll take it himself to the bag for the unassisted double play. Oh, wow. Ted Burden with the 4 unassisted, and he gets Jacob Denner out of the jam.
Boy, did Jacob Denner need that. Tracy Smith back into genius mode, I guess, after that one. Despite it being a righty batter, Jacob Denner able to work through it. Gets a little bit of luck there on the bending ball that just seems to wave right into the face of Ted Burton. His ability to have that heads-up play, though, and step on the second bag.
And it's time to stretch in Ann Arbor. Michigan's lead still intact. 5-3 Wolverines as we head to the bottom of the 7th. 9 hits now for Michigan State, 10 for Michigan.
Michigan State has had runners on all throughout today, unable to fully crack the code of this Wolverine pitching so far. Tracy Smith's got to be pretty pleased right now with how his team is performing today. A team still searching for consistency out of the pitching lineup, as honestly most college baseball teams always are. But nevertheless, 5-3, here we stand. Jared, how have you been impressed by Jacob Denner today?
similar to Noah Renard, just Denner's resilience working his way out of jams and unfazed by the big bats in Michigan State's order. You look at the last 2 innings, the Spartans had 2 men on in the 7th and 3 in the 6th. Didn't score a run on either occasion.
And what's so impressive about Denner seems to be his ability to stay cool in these moments. As you mentioned, Jared, always attacking just like Noah Renard did earlier, not shying away from a lineup that this Michigan State team has that, I mean, you look at the numbers, your eyes will pop out of your skull a little bit. You know, with, I think you mentioned it, multiple batters batting over 300, you run the risk of feeling a little intimidated by them. But clearly for Renard and for Denner, they come out strong and it pays off.
And Noah Matheny back out for more. He's tossed 2 scoreless innings in relief, helped kept this a manageable deficit. It's a 5-3 ball game. Michigan on top here in the bottom of the 7th as Jimmy Obertop, the right-handed hitter, climbs in against the righty Matheny. Matheny comes set at the belt, takes a long pause on the rubber, now kicks the dirt and deals. His first pitch to Obertop is a fastball low and away for ball 1. Obertop, the big story of the day, making his season debut. He's been sidelined all year with a nagging arm injury. The 1-0 from Matheny at the letters for a strike. Another fastball, and it's 1-1. Obertop 1 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout. The big bat in the middle of Michigan's order that the Wolverines have sorely missed all season. 1-1 pitch is a breaking ball high, 2-1. Obertop, 15 home runs and north of 50 RBI last season. Looking to provide Michigan with a jolt and stabilize the heart of the order. 2-1 pitch, lined up the middle, and a leaping catch by the second baseman Farquhar for the first out of the inning. He had Obertop shaded that way, positioned perfectly to make the first out of the inning.
And you know, Obertop not able to come up with the hit there, but you have to be pleased with the fact that he's able to make contact in his first game back. We know he had the single that sliced down that left field line earlier today. It's not going to be a base runner, but it's the little victories when you're coming back from an injury.
And so here's Jack Van Remortel with 1 out and nobody on in the 7th, and Michigan up 5-3. Matheny's first pitch is at the knees for a strike, 0-1. Van Remortel entered this game as the Wolverines' hottest hitter, batting .412 over his last 5 games, but he's taken an 0 for this afternoon, 0 for 3 with a couple of pop-ups and a ground out. 0-1 the count, Matheny deals, and the fastball rides high, 1-1. Mitch Voigt stands on deck, 4-5-6 in the Michigan lineup here against Noah Matheny in the 7th. 1-1 the count, Matheny deals. Breaking ball on the outside corner for a strike, and it's 1-2.
Van Remortel seems a little not too pleased, we can say, with some of these calls. He's been a little reactive in the box thus far.
Chris Koski calling balls and strikes behind the dish. 1-2 the count, Van Remortel in a hole. Matheny with another long pause on the mound. Into the windup and deals, and he yanks that fastball low and away, 2-2. Matheny relieved Jerwa a couple innings ago and has allowed just 1 hit. 2-2 pitch. Van Remortel saws it off foul down the right field side. That's heading for a car, and it thuds off a car. Hopefully the windows are okay down there. Few things are more exciting than what just transpired, as long as it's not your car.
Certainly, Jared. Everyone's happy to see it fall, hates to see it land.
2-2 the count. Matheny deals home. On the outside corner on a fastball, strike 3 called, and Van Remortel retired for the second out.
You can see a big grin there on Van Remortel. He's clearly not too content with what just happened, but I will say that, you know, this is a Michigan team that has been somewhat disciplined at the plate today, has had some errors, but for the most part, they've been able to adapt to what Chris Koski's been calling, and it's worked in their favor.
Mitch Voigt, right-handed hitter, climbs in. The first pitch from Matheny is a breaking ball low and away for ball 1. Voigt was the first batter to face Matheny in the 5th, skied out to center field. Matheny's faced 9 Michigan hitters and retired 8 of them in a stellar relief outing so far. His 1-0 to Voigt. A fastball on the outside corner for a strike, and it's 1-1. And Voigt 0 for 2 today. He came in hot with a couple of hits and a home run on Wednesday against Toledo. That average at 262. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed, and it's 1-2.
You know, you mentioned it, Jared. Noah Matheny's skill today has been impeccable. He's truly settled in despite playing from behind. He knows he's working with a little bit of house money as Michigan State tries to claw back.
1-2 the count. Matheny looking for a 1-2-3 top of the 7th. Into the windup, and he deals home to Voigt. Misses just low, 2-2. Matheny has retired the last 6 Michigan batters, helping keep this a manageable 2-run deficit in a 5-3 game. 2-2 pitch, and Voigt just got a piece of it, able to foul it right back to the screen, and it stays 2-2.
And that's a good decision by Voigt. Not going to leave it up to chance. It might not be the best hack he's ever taken for sure, but keeps the at-bat alive when you don't want to risk a strikeout looking.
Infield, outfield, straight up against the right-hand hitting Voigt. Velasquez, the lefty, looms on deck. Long pause again from Matheny as he looks to get on the same page with his catcher, Brecker. Into the windup, 2-2 pitch. Outside, ball 3, went with the breaking ball and didn't get it over. And so Voigt, working a nice turn at bat, has worked the count full. 3-2 pitch, just off the outside corner, ball 4. Matheny wanted that call, didn't get it, and so Voigt is on base with his second walk of the day, giving Michigan a 2-out base runner for the slugging Joey Velasquez.
Joey Velasquez has been hot thus far, subbed in a pinch hitting opportunity. Now that he's had some ability to sit here and see what Matheny's been dealing, he hopes it'll definitely give him the advantage after coming up as the second batter against Matheny with little scouting report in the physical way.
Short lead on it first for Voigt. Velasquez, the lefty, steps in. Matheny at the belt. His first pitch home is a breaking ball that misses low, 1-0. Velasquez struck out in his first and only at-bat of the day back in the 5th. He's got a 12-game on-base streak and an 8-game hitting streak. Those streaks are a little harder to maintain when you come off the bench. 1-0 home. At the knees for a strike on a fastball, and it's 1-1. Velasquez has bumped that average all the way up to 245. It was sitting well below the Mendoza line for quite some time. Tito Flores looms on deck. Voigt with a short lead on it first. 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Fouled off at a play down the left field side, and it's 1-2. Velasquez looking to iron that out.
Mitch Voigt still waiting on his first stolen base of the year, even his first attempt of the year, so not necessarily a running threat here. Helpful to Matheny, who can pretty much only focus on Velasquez and dealing to him straight up.
1-2 the count. Matheny comes home. Breaking ball fisted towards the left side of the infield in no man's land. The third baseman, Kark, will put it in his pocket. He throws to second, and getting back in safely is Voigt, who overran the bag a bit, so it's a seeing eye infield hit for Velasquez, who extends that hitting streak to 9 games.
Mitch Voigt with a little bit of a flair for the dramatic there. You know, we know he's been able to make big plays all day, but almost cost the Wolverines right there. Overrunning second base, not necessarily something you want to do on a tough play like that. An infield hit. Velasquez is pushing hard down the sideline, and for Mitch Voigt to try and round that third base, a heads-up running play definitely if you think you'll be able to stretch it to third, but in the end, he ends up having to slide back and just barely beats the tag.
And pinch runner for Velasquez. Greg Pace comes into the game to run at first base as the back runner, with Voigt the runner at second. 2 on and 2 out, with Michigan up 5-3 and looking for more insurance in the bottom of the 7th. Tito Flores, right-handed hitter, climbs in. Matheny's first pitch to Flores is slugged in the air towards left, down the line, hooking foul. Flores got well ahead on a first pitch breaking ball that had plenty of plate.
Tito perhaps seeing something he really liked there, but at times, especially for a young baseball player such as himself, it's that little bit of excitement. You jump on it just a bit too early, and suddenly what could potentially become a double bagger turns into nothing.
0-1 count. Matheny looks towards second, now deals home, and it's low and away, ball 1. Voigt with decent speed on at second. Pace, the back runner, a lot of speed on at first. Flores, right-handed hitter, has swung the bat well today. He's 2 for 3 with a couple of singles and a long fly out to left center. 1-1 the count. Matheny deals. Outside, ball 2. Missed on a fastball. So Matheny laboring a little bit in his third inning of work.
One thing that jumps right off the page of you, Matheny is definitely a slow worker. He takes his time.
2-1 the count. Fires home, and it's up and away, ball 3. And so Matheny, who walked 18 batters in 20 innings entering this outing, but has only walked 1 batter so far, has lost command of the strike zone. 3-1 the count, a dangerous situation to Flores with Sotrace on deck. Runners lead off first and second with 2 away. Matheny steps back on the rubber and deals. 3-1 fouled straight back. Flores with a healthy cut, and it's 3-2.
And we'll see Matheny take his patented step behind the mound here as he just kind of slaps the back of that mound. It's a turf field here at Fisher Stadium, so I'm not necessarily sure if he's getting the exact same experience he normally does, but we know he's content to take his time. That's where he's found success today, taking a long look now at home plate.
3-2 the count. Runners lead off first and second. 2 away in the 7th. Here's the pitch home, and it's low, ball 4. Flores works a walk, and the bases are full of Wolverines for the former Spartan, Gabe Sotrace, who strides to the plate.
And we've talked about it all day today, Jared. The Wolverines' ability to compete with 2 outs, especially with base runners on, it's crucial to being able to stay competitive against great teams like the Spartans here.
And a mound visit will commence here with the bases loaded and 2 away. Unclear if Noah Matheny will get a chance to face Sotrace. He's thrown 2 2/3 innings, allowed 2 hits, walked 2, and struck out 2. That pitch count up to 48 for Matheny. Our view of the Michigan State bullpen is slightly obstructed, but there's a lot of activity going down there. It looks like there are a couple of pitchers on the hill warming up. And a long meeting at the mound right now. We'll see how long home plate umpire Chris Koski allows it to go on. And right on cue, he trots out towards the rubber. We've yet to see a signal. And Matheny is going to stay in the game. So with 2 out and the bases loaded, the right-handed throwing Matheny will get at least 1 more batter in the right-handed Sotrace. You have to wonder if that was also doubly a meeting to buy some time for a southpaw to warm up, with Jeffress looming on deck if this inning continues. So the bases are loaded. Voigt leads off of third, Pace off of second, and Flores on at first, with Gabe Sotrace, the former Michigan State Spartan and a right-handed hitter, climbing in. Matheny, the righty, toes the rubber and deals. First pitch, line to short, caught on a line by Jeb to retire the side. So Matheny able to escape the jam unscathed. We're through 7 in Ray Fisher. Michigan up 5-3. The Wolverines leave the bases loaded.
And Matheny with a little bit of emotion there as he walks off the mound. It's understandable. You know, he's had a successful day by any standard, putting up a 0 spot in relief of Joseph Jerwa, but it got a little dicey there towards the end. Michigan State chooses to keep its relief righty in, not in favor of a lefty that we see. There's a couple of lefties warming up in the Michigan State bullpen right now, especially with Cody Jeffress on the come up in the next inning. It's possible that Matheny's day is done. But for now, on the opposite side, Jacob Denner is still in this game for the Wolverines after having a questionable final inning himself just a few moments ago. But the lefty will stay out there against this potent, often left-handed Michigan State lineup.
Michigan 6 outs away from a pivotal series opening win against Michigan State. We'll see how Tracy Smith patches together these final 2 innings and tries to see this lead through. And I know I've touched on this before, Jared, but going back to it, especially out of the lefty position,
Jacob Denner's release point and his breaking ball ability makes him such a dangerous pitcher. You see evident amounts of break on his pitches, and the fact that they come from such a wide out area makes it difficult for a hitter to see whether it's staying inside, whether it's moving outside, or whether it just might be nicking a corner that you're not able to touch.
Denner beginning his second full inning of work. He's pitched or gotten 4 outs this afternoon. Ran into a bit of trouble in the top of the 7th. Michigan State had 2 on with 1 away, but Denner was able to induce a line drive, 4 unassisted double play off the bat of Brian Brecker. And now he begins the top of the 8th, handed a 5-3 lead, with Jack Frank, the 6th hitter in Michigan State's order, climbing in. The lefty deals to the lefty, and it's fouled straight back, 0-1. Frank has had himself a day with a couple of infield singles, but he was caught stealing in the 6th, and that loomed large because 2 other Spartans got on after him, but Michigan State didn't score. 0-1 curveball slides in for a strike, and it's 0-2. Frank, Kark, and Casey, 6, 7, and 8, due up here for the Spartans. Denner, the southpaw, comes set. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball, strike 3 called. And Denner begins the 8th with a strikeout.
You know, Denner's ability to generate strikeouts is something he's been searching for consistently today, but that's a great start at the top of this 8th inning here with 1 out, none on. Certainly a very helpful position.
Dylan Kark, right-handed hitter, steps into the box against the southpaw Denner. Kark is 1 for 3 with a ground rule double. Casey Mays waits on deck. Denner's first pitch, over for a strike, a fastball at the knees, and it's 0-1. Greg Pace is taken over in right field for Joey Velasquez after pinch running in the last half inning. So 3rd right fielder of the day for the Wolverines. 0-1 the count. Denner deals home. Just below the knees, 1-1. Some grumpy fans at Ray Fisher. It's been an inconsistent strike zone today from Chris Koski behind the dish. 1-1 the count. Infield, outfield, straight up against the right-handed Kark. Denner comes set. Here's the 1-1. Lace towards right center. Pace on his horse, and he'll get there to run it down. Well, Greg Pace can fly, and he covered a lot of ground in a hurry. Got a great jump, and he was able to run that ball down.
And that closing speed coupled with a great jump by Pace, a great read on his end. You know, those are balls that even with his speed sometimes you can't track down. The fact of the matter is just a little bit too much air under it, and a great read by Pace allows him to make the right decision and make it fast. 2
up, 2 down for Denner in the top of the 8th. Mays, the left-handed hitter, steps in. Denner's first pitch, a whiff and a miss on a breaking ball, and it's 0-1.
Denner dialing it down there to 79 miles per hour. That's exactly what he needs to do. You know, we've seen him have some great stuff, some great heat even.
Casey Mays singled his last time up. Denner's 0-1. Another wave and a miss at another breaking ball, and it's 0-2. And Denner's a strike away from a 1-2-3 frame. 5-3 Michigan here in the top of the 8th. 2 up, 2 outs. 0-2 the count. Denner deals home to Mays. Poke to the left side. Voigt chasing back, hoping for a play, but it sails into the bullpen. A foul ball.
And how big would Denner being able to get out of this inning be for a Michigan team that's only had 2 pitchers thus far today? We know they've struggled with at times, especially against Toledo, like you mentioned earlier this week, Jared, fighting through having to use a number of pitchers late into their games.
0-2 the count. Denner comes to the belt. The 0-2 pitch to Mays. Outside, ball 1. Outfield fairly shallow against Mays. Burden, the second baseman, and Jeffress, the shortstop, both on the lip of the outfield grass. The 1-2 pitch. Wave and a miss. He went right back to the breaking ball and got another swing and miss to retire the side. It's a 1-2-3 eighth for Jacob Denner. Michigan heads to the bottom of the 8th looking for some insurance runs. Up 5-3.
And Jacob Denner, we saw, like you mentioned, Jared, going back to that breaking ball, his stuff has looked excellent today for the Wolverines, something that we know they're very excited to see, especially headed down the stretch of this season. They're halfway through, and if Jacob Denner can stay strong as a southpaw with great stuff, there's not much more you can ask for out of a reliever.
Denner has found a groove, and he's guided Michigan all the way to the 8th. Wolverines now 3 outs away from a victory. They'll look for some insurance runs here of 5-3. There was a lot of scoring in this game early, but no one has scored since the top of the 5th. The scoring has really quieted down. That's a testament to both pitching staffs, particularly Noah Renard and Jacob Denner on Michigan's side.
And, you know, Ted Burton sends one into the stands out in left field, if there even are stands out there, and you start to think maybe this game will really break open. But as you mentioned, Jared, it's quieted down. We are kind of in a little bit of a battle of who's going to blink first. We've seen both Michigan and the Spartans load guys on base, yet neither have been able to fully come away with any production out of it.
Jared Greenspan here alongside John Tondora from Ray Fisher Stadium. It's a cloudy, overcast day, but the rain has held up long enough, and we're here in the bottom of the 8th with Michigan up 5-3, eyeing a few more insurance runs here. A new pitcher has come in for Michigan State. It's Gavin Sitars, the left-handed thrower. Enters the game with a 7.36 ERA. He's pitched just 3 2/3 innings on the year, given up 2 hits and walked 4, allowed 3 runs and struck out 2. And it'll be the top of the lineup that Sitars will have to deal with. Jeffress, Burden, and Kim, 1, 2, 3 in the Michigan batting order as the Wolverines eye some insurance. 3 outs away from a series opening victory against Michigan State.
And, you know, the Spartans reaching a little bit deeper into their bag here with Sitars. As you mentioned, Jared, not a huge amount of experience thus far this season, but he's put in a big spot. You know, the Spartans are down 2 runs right now, so certainly not playing as well as they've wanted today, but Sitars is still put in a big position. You know, this can get out of hand quickly if you're the Spartans, but if he can shut it down, they move to the top of the 9th inning, and Michigan State has 3 more outs to try and get it done.
5-3 Wolverines on top in the bottom of the 8th as Cody Jeffress, the left-handed hitter, digs into the box against the southpaw Sitars. Sitars comes to the belt. His first pitch of the afternoon is on the way, and it's inside, ball 1, sends Jeffress spinning out of the way. Jeffress, Burden, and Kim, 1, 2, 3 in the Michigan lineup here in the bottom of the 8th as the Wolverines eye some insurance runs. 1-0 the count. Sitars comes set. Here's the pitch. And that breaking ball loops below the knees for a ball, 2-0. Jeffress has been on base twice today with a couple of hits. He's scored 2 runs and driven in a pair as well. 2 bloop seeing eye base knocks for Jeffress. 2-0 the count. Sitars comes home. Jeffress thought about a bunt, pulls it back, and takes a ball off the outside corner, and it's suddenly 3-0. So Sitars has walked 4 batters in 3 2/3 innings pitch. And now he's fallen behind on Jeffress, 3-0. The pitch on the outside corner for a strike, 3-1. Well, Gavin Sitars, the 5'11", 175-pound left-handed pitcher, the freshman from St. Charles, Illinois, getting a crucial inning in the 8th. 3-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Over for a strike. Jeffress again pulling a bunt back, and suddenly it's 3-2.
You know, for Sitars, being a freshman, such a young guy on this team, but an inexplicably big role as we've mentioned so far.
3-2 pitch. Jeffress fouls it off down the left field side out of play. And so a 7th pitch of the at-bat upcoming from Sitars to Jeffress. Jeffress has scored each time he's gotten on tonight, so a pivotal batter here for Sitars to retire. 3-2 the count. Into the windup and deals home. Bloop to center. Ziegler coming on, diving, can't make the catch. It trickles off his glove and lands in front of him for another bloop base knock for Cody Jeffress. I'm telling you, he's got to go play the lottery.
You're exactly right, Jared. You know, it's not only come from Cody Jeffress today, but he has just found a knack today of just placing those balls right lower than what you would want them to be. Ziegler with an amazing effort. He dives. For a moment, you even think he might have come up with it, but as he stands, surveys the field, he finds the ball at his feet, and suddenly there's one runner on.
And that ball seemed to pop out of Ziegler's glove as he hit the ground. Quick snap through the first, and Jeffress back in standing. Jeffress 8 for 8 when it comes to stolen base attempts on the year. Ted Burden, the righty, into the box. Sitar steals the first pitch home. It's a breaking ball low and away for ball 1. The third baseman, Kark, pinched in against Burden. Middle infield and double play depth. And Bradenberg holding on Jeffries on at first. 1-0 the count. Sitar deals. And that hits the inside corner, 1-1. Jeffries with a medium-sized lead on at first. Sitars comes to the belt. Eyes first, now throws that away. He's got that deceptive move, which is certainly easier for a left-hander, more depth that keep holding the running game when you could see the runner. And that should help Sitars here as he tries to keep Jeffries close. 1-1 the count. Eyes first. Now we'll fire home, and that breaking ball over for a strike, 1-2. Jonathan Kim on deck, another lefty, and then Jimmy Obertop in the hole against Sitars here in the 8th, with Michigan up 5-3. 1-2 the count. Sitars working at a deliberate pace here. Jeffress leads off first. The pitch home. Balloons up and away on a breaking ball, and it's 2-2.
And we've seen some inconsistency here early for Sitars with that breaking ball. A lefty on a righty. We see he's probably not trying to test Burton's ability down the middle, but he still needs to find that strike zone.
2-2 the count. Here's the pitch, and Burton pops it up, shallow left center. Ziegler angles over, waits for it to come down, and makes the one-handed catch for the first out of the inning. So Burden retired, 1 away. Jeffress still on at first, and Jonathan Kim coming to the plate.
Looking for his 5th opportunity of the day. Jonathan Kim, we should look back to how in his first at-bat he hammered a triple down into deep right center field. He's looking to do something similar like that today and get some insurance runs for his pitching in a crucial 9th inning coming up. 3
infielders on the right side against Kim, the lefty. The lefty Sitars deals home. Kim pulls it to first. Scooped by Vradenberg. The throw to second. He got him there too. It's a nifty 3-6 double play. Vradenberg had the line covered, stepped on the bag, threw to short, and Jeb covering, able to apply the tag. And so the threat is erased. Michigan heads to the top of the 9th, up 5-3. 3 outs away from a win.
Yeah, Jared, an unlucky placement there for Kim. Of course, not exactly how he would have drawn it up in his head, but that ball falls right in front of Vradenberg, who's perfectly happy to step on first, fire over to second, and a double play ends what looked to be a promising inning just like that.
And it'll be Mitch Voigt who gets the call in the 9th inning for the Wolverines. The two-way player will toe the rubber and try to deliver Michigan a win.
Who other than Mitch Voigt, right, Jared? This is a guy, he's just got a deep bag of tricks. You see him firing right-handed throws from third base down over to first. How could we forget that almost bobbled play that ended the earlier inning here? And now as a closer, what a big ask for a power-hitting third baseman. It's something I'm sure you've all talked about all year long, but to be a power-hitting third baseman and a closer as a freshman just speaks to how invaluable he's been for this team. Clearly can throw some heat, and he's hoping to have the Wolverines walking home with a W tonight.
And Voigt has 3 saves on the year, eyeing his 4th. He's thrown 22 1/3 innings on the season, given up 20 hits, walked 8 batters, struck out 15, pitching to a 3.22 ERA. And with Voigt moving to the mound, it'll be Dylan Stanton who comes in to play third base. So Flores, Kim, and Pace left to right in the outfield, with Stanton, Jeffress, Burden, and Van Remortel third to first in the infield, and Sotre still behind the plate, catching Mitch Voigt, who will face 9-1-2 in the Michigan State order.
And in these crunch time moments, you know, we haven't seen it since a little bit earlier when Noah Renard kind of stuff the ball into the dirt on a potential double play, but it's still a wet day here at Ray Fisher Stadium, still a cloudy, overcast sky. You have to wonder if in the big moments when your hands get a little sweaty and the ball's a little wet, can you come up with the big plays when they're needed?
Ziegler, Farquhar, and Jeb. The first three due up against Mitch Voigt in the ninth with the big bat of Brock Bradenberg looming 4 batters away. So it's the left-handed hitting Greg Ziegler, right-handed hitting Greg Ziegler rather, who steps into the box against the right-handed Mitch Voigt. As the Spartans look for a rally, down 5-3 in the ninth, down to their final 3 outs. Voigt, who enters the game with a 3.22 ERA, eyeing his 4th save of the year, toes the rubber. His first pitch home to Ziegler is a breaking ball over for a strike. 0-1.
And if you're Michigan State, this is exactly the spot you want to be in. If Ziegler can set the table, you've got a dangerous order coming up.
0-1 the count. Voigt comes set. Now he deals. Ripped to short, a couple of hops for Jeffress. Sees it into his glove, throws to first, and he gets Ziegler by a stride for the first out of the inning.
Michigan State down to 2 outs now. These are the moments where you have to hope your big performers can come through. Farquhar coming up. Mitch Jeb on deck. That's what you need if you want to find some success.
And Farquhar popped out to center field against Jacob Denner his last time up, stranding the bases loaded. Voigt's first pitch to the lefty is sliced in the air towards left. An easy play for Flores. Trots in a couple of strides and makes the one-handed catch. And all of a sudden, Michigan State is down to its final out.
Not exactly how the Spartans would have drawn it up. Of course, 2 pitches, 2 outs for Mitch Voigt. We know he can throw the heat, and he's going to bring the pressure. All day we've seen Michigan pitchers attacking the Spartans, and we know they have not been able to find a consistent answer. Now they're down to a rally.
The Spartans' hopes firmly on life support. Down 5-3 with 2 away and nobody on in the ninth. Voigt's first pitch to Jeb is on the outside corner, a fastball. 0-1. Jeb, the left-handed hitter, has a couple of hits today. A single in the second and a triple in the 5th. Bradenberg looms on deck. Jeb, a .310 hitter, just trying to get on. 0-1 the count. Voigt fires home. Lace towards left center. Flores coming on. He'll make the catch to retire the side, and the ball game is over. Mitch Voigt works an easy-peasy 1-2-3 ninth, and the Wolverines, behind strong pitching from Noah Renard and Jacob Denner, take the series opener from Michigan State. They win it 5-3.
And if you're Mitch Voigt, that's one that you can't draw up any better. Only a couple pitches used. We know he can throw the heat. Was pumping up to 93 there. Something the Spartans just weren't able to handle as he attacked from the beginning, and it paid dividends.
A stellar day for the Wolverines, even without Connor O'Halloran, the normal Friday starter who will start either Saturday or Sunday instead. Michigan's pitching tames a potent lineup, and Jimmy Obertop, most importantly, the big bat, gets back into the lineup for the first time this season, recovered from an arm injury, even gets a feel-good base knock. Michigan pounds out 12 hits, and the Wolverines win it 5-3. Well, that's going to do it for WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball. There's Michigan softball going on WCBN 2, so make sure to switch over to that one. We'll have more coverage of both baseball and softball tomorrow. There's lacrosse later tonight. Plenty more listening for your Friday night. So for John Tondora, I'm Jared Greenspan saying so long from Ray Fisher Stadium, and we'll leave you like we always do, celebrating the 5-3 Michigan win with a good night and a Go Blue.